Hello, YouTube. It is ValleyGirl5678 here, and it is finally time for my Midnight's review. I'm sorry it's taken me this long. I just really wanted to make sure that I gave myself enough time to process the album before doing this review. Also, I'm sorry if the audio is a little, not as good as normal. I usually use my phone for my audio. However, I am going to be doing a lot of lyrical analysis in this video and needed my phone for that. But without further ado, let's get into it. So Midnight's, it is TS10, Taylor's 10th studio album, 10th LP. Pretty insane. What is truly insane is how just within this first week and a half or so of the album being out, she has already broken numerous records, including being the first artist ever to hold all top 10 tracks on the Billboard Top 100, which simultaneously made it so that it was the first time no men have been in the top 10 on the Billboard Top 100, which is such a slight. Taylor literally said, no men, just me. She does it for the girls and the gays, that's it. Like, it's just, I just love her so much. Another thing I find incredibly impressive about this album rollout and era or whatever is how she's basically managed to come out to her, gayer fans while maintaining the image and brand that is Taylor Swift, that the majority of the world and the majority of her fans support her because of. It has been really interesting to see how many are managing to put heterosexual explanations to certain songs and certain moments, and I will get into it as I go along into the video, which brings me to my little spiel. If you haven't gotten the hint yet, I will be reviewing Midnight's through a gayer/queer lens. Why, do you ask? Because it is an incredibly queer album. This does not mean I'm discrediting her relationship with Joe, whatever it is. Outing her, which is a huge thing that people like to viscerally attack gaylers for. Gaylers are simply people that are reading her work and analyzing it through a literary lens and noticing very obvious queer flagging, and the more of us there are, the more we discuss, the more we find, the more we learn. Just because she hasn't officially come out does not mean that she's not queer, especially given the many queer and sapphic references she has been making in her work, specifically since 1989, but there was stuff before then for sure as well. And I am also not at all claiming I know everything about her and her life and whatever, because none of us do, and none of us ever will, because that is how she likes it, which is so valid since she's like the most famous person in the world. There are so many legitimate reasons for her to, never publicly or officially come out. I think that a lot of people that are like somewhere in the middle, not necessarily like full gayer or like Hitler, to say, well, why doesn't she just come out? And it's simply not as simple as we think. But also I just feel like coming out is a concept that is literally rooted in the heteronormativity of society. Because if you have to come out, it means you're coming out as something else, something other than the norm. The norm being straight. Basically, I think all of this, whatever I just said, all can be boiled down to there's still rampant homophobia in America, but definitely, in the world. That is the main reason why Taylor Swift may never fully officially come out. However, my argument, and a lot of Gaylor's argument, is that she has come in to the queer community, specifically with Midnight's. Naturally, I'm always happy to convert people to Gaylerism, but that is not the point of this video. I am a Taylor Swift fan. I love Taylor Swift. I am a Gayler. I am going to analyze and review this album through the lens that, in my opinion, is the most obvious and correct way to analyze it. Okay, let's get into the album, and I will be going in order, as I always do, beginning with Lavender Haze, which was written by Taylor Swift and Jack Antonoff, the dynamic duo of this album, as well as Soundwave, Jahan Sweet, and Sam Dew, who all three of them have actually previously worked with Kendrick Lamar and Beyonce. I believe they all have, or like two of them actually worked on Kendrick's album and Beyonce's new album that came out this year as well. And then, of course, the last co-writer is Zoe Kravitz. Now the Zoe of it all, I'm not going to bother like really digging into because that is not what this is about. It's about the music. The song is produced by Jack and Taylor, Soundwave, Jahan Sweet, and Braxton Cook, who's like an up-and-coming jazz boy. I had to look him up, but seems interesting. Another thing is Taylor has never worked with this many Black producers and just like co-artists on a project. I think it's about time. It's a good thing, and you can hear it in the music too, which is good stuff. I mean, when I first heard Lavender Haze, I could not believe it was a Taylor Swift song. I love this track as the opener. I think it's super strong and iconic. The thing that made me say to myself, I can't believe this is a Taylor Swift song, is the production and her vocals. The first chorus is where the Lavender Gate of it all does come in, being that she makes it quite clear that the weird rumors she was talking about are people speculating on her being engaged, married, or pregnant to Joe Alwyn with Joe Alwyn's baby, whatever. It is so insane to me that the most powerful person in music, after like over 15 years of being the most powerful person in music, is still getting boiled down to her boyfriends. The misogyny, it just shows so blatantly, and that's what she's saying here. She said this is a bad bitch album with Lavender Haze, and I will be telling you why I'm a bad bitch. I will be telling you why you're not. You start getting the idea of, okay, clearly the weird rumors were the marriage and engagement rumors over anything else. You get that a little bit in the first chorus with no deal, this 1950s shit they want from me, but she spells it out explicitly in the second verse. All they keep asking me is if I'm going to be your bride. The only kind of girl they see is a one night or a wife. While the bridge definitely is not her best bridge ever, I do love the get it off your chest, get it off my desk line. Yeah, overall I like Lavender Haze. The production and like melody and vocal performance of it all does it for me more than like the lyricism on it does. And I like how she sets up the album with this, because she immediately is like, the weird rumors I am referring to is not the people saying I'm gay, because she goes on to continue the album with Maroon. Possibly one of the gayest things she's ever made. This one was written and produced by the dynamic duo that is Taylor and Jack. That is the majority of the credits on this album. This is the first full Jack Antonoff Taylor project, and you can hear it and it shows, and I love it. And I am not here for the Jack Antonoff hate. I have been back and forth about who I think this is about, and ultimately I don't really care. What I do care about is that it's definitely about a woman. Most notably from the line from the chorus, "The lips I used to call home, so scarlet, it was maroon." A lot of people are trying to head-splain this by saying that she's referring to her own lips. But how does that make any sense? If you're calling lips home, the song is romantic. It's clearly not about her. It's clearly about someone else. Why the hell? It doesn't make any sense. Maybe she, Taylor Allison Swift, the best songwriter of our generation, wrote a song about two people and just about like women and women loving women in general. It's actually something I think Taylor does a lot more than we realize. I think that's so much of why she is the queen of, every bait and switch is a work of art. I think multiple people can be right about what a song or who a song is about, because it is written not just about, multiple different people or events or perspectives. It draws inspiration from multiple people and events and blah, blah, blah. I cannot discuss Maroon without mentioning the lines, "The rust that grew between telephones." Like, what a beautiful way to say we don't talk anymore. But then also rust is, a reddish color. Also want to give an honorable mention to "Carnations You Had Thought Were Roses." That's us. Obviously, the most obvious interpretation of this is carnations are just cheaper flowers than roses. Also, roses are very much the flower that represents romance and love and all of that. And this idea that, we were carnations, we were, just friends, or we never really had a chance. But you thought we were roses, but we were always carnations. But then carnations and roses are both flowers that are used in gay symbolism. Specifically, carnations. I believe Oscar Wilde was the first one. He wore green carnation to on his like, you know, suit or whatever people wore to indicate queerness to other gays. So I think that also has a bit of a double meaning to it. In the first chorus, we have Taylor saying, "And I chose you." And come the second chorus, we get, "And I lost you." Love the fucking, and that's a real fucking legacy. It is so fucking satisfying. I love the vibe shift for the last chorus, the key change, and kind of like the raspy voice she's singing it in. It is very sexy. This is in my top 5 for sure. Stay tuned to find out which spot, but all of it, the lyrics, production, melody, I love this song. Okay, so Antihero is the next track. This is another one from the iconic duo that is Jack and Taylor. It was the first single we got and the first music video we got for this album. The music video is so interesting when looking at it from a Gaylor perspective or just like a queer perspective. I do not have time, unfortunately, to break down the Antihero music video and, you know, analyze what it represents. However, there are a lot of great ones on TikTok. I will link Swifty Plantika's. Antihero very much ties into the self-loathing sector of the things that keep Taylor up at night that she talked about in her little announcement post for Midnights. This is an amazingly written song with notable lyrics such as, "I'll stare directly at the sun but never in the mirror." Like, she will self-sabotage before she actually confronts herself. "Sometimes I feel like everybody is a sexy baby, but I'm a monster on a hill. If this line has 1,000,000 fans, I'm one of them. If this line has 100 fans, I'm one of them. If this line has 1 fan, I'm that one. If this line has no fans, then I'm dead." It very much ties into, you know, obviously she had an eating disorder. She does have a bit of a insecurity of feeling, you know, too tall, too big to hang out, but also too big, like her life is too big. But then obviously specifically like the sexy baby aspect points to, you know, the social media age that we're living in and the societal expectations that have come out of it for women specifically with like plastic surgery, etc. If you go on Instagram, if you go on any like Instabaddies Instagram, they look like a sexy baby. Taylor just put it into words for us, and now we're having to confront it as a society. And it's uncomfortable, because it should be, because it's uncomfortable. And then of course, did you hear my covert narcissism? I disguised as altruism like some kind of congressman. Like, okay, Taylor, leftist era. No, obviously Taylor is the capitalist queen. She will never be a leftist. But the bridge is my favorite fucking part. "I have this dream, my daughter-in-law kills me for the money. She thinks I left them in the will. The family gathers round and reads it, and then someone screams out, she's laughing up at us from hell." I just think it's fucking genius. I love the part in the music video. I love how it's a little break. I love the casting. Yeah, I love it. Also, just a little interesting that she hisses when she says, "Everybody agrees." Rap Easter egg? Probably. Now, "Snow on the Beach" is the next track, written and produced by the duo Taylor and Jack, as well as Lana Del Rey. And it literally sounds completely like a collab of these 3 queens, completely, lyrically and production-wise. There was a bit of, you know, a Lana vocal gate and people being like, "Where's Lana's verse? Where's Lana's verse?" I totally hear you. I wish there was a Lana verse. However, if there was a Lana verse, it definitely wouldn't have been on this song. Like, it seems pretty obvious that they did what was right for the song that they wrote together. We don't know whose ultimate choice it was, but ultimately I do think that they made the best decision for the song, for the art itself. I think it sounds amazing. Their voices blend together so well, it's insane. And the lines like "weird but fucking beautiful" and "stars by the pocketful" are so Lana Del Rey to me. And so it very much does feel like a Taylor x Lana track, even though, you know, Lana is mostly backing vocals. You can't miss her, you know, though. You really can't. And at the end of the bridge, into the last chorus, Lana's little vocal run, like, "Are we falling?" Like literally sends me every time. It's so good. It's so good. And the song does obviously give me what Taylor said it was about, how like falling in love with someone at the same time they're falling in love with you. But it does feel queer to me in the sense that she's saying, you know, it's surreal. Like, can this really be happening? It's not crazy for a random boy to like, you know, this random man, Joe Alwyn, to like you back, Taylor Allison Swift, you know? What's weird but fucking beautiful, what's, you know, impossible but happening, like snow on the beach. Maybe a queer relationship makes a little bit more sense. I do love this one. I do love the Lana and Taylor of it all. You're on Your Own Kid is the duo Jack and Taylor. This is of course her track 5s, which is, if you're a Swiftie you know, a very important track. Often her track 5s are, you know, where some of her deepest cuts are. This one is good. I don't think it's her best track 5. My Tears Ricochet may always take the cake for me, but it's not her worst either, and the bridge makes it for sure. I also really like her vocal performance on this track, like as a whole. And it's very interesting how she kind of clearly takes us through her different, not eras, but like the first verse is very much clearly like in her hometown back in Pennsylvania. And she's obviously talking about some sort of crush. The first chorus, she searches the party of better bodies, which obviously points to, you know, her body dysmorphia, eating disorder, all of that stuff, just to learn that she never cared, that this crush of hers clearly never cared about her, and so she realized then, you're on your own, kid. You always have been. Come verse 2, she sees the great escape. She finds writing songs to be an outlet for her for getting over these hard emotions. And then she, in the second chorus, searches the party of better bodies. But then, instead of learning that her high school or middle school crush doesn't care, she learns that her dreams aren't rare. So I do love how this song kind of like takes us through until we get to the bridge, and she's really having a rant moment. The bridge starts the same way the chorus starts, but then it becomes the bridge instead of the third chorus. From sprinkler splashes to fireplace ashes, I gave my blood, sweat, and tears for this. I hosted parties and starved my body like I'd be saved by a perfect kiss. That line is so amazing. The fact that she goes from saying, I searched the party of better bodies just to learn that my dreams aren't rare, to I hosted parties and starved my body like I'd be saved, like everything would fall into place with a perfect love. And obviously, you know, she now knows that isn't true. The jokes weren't funny. I took the money. My friends from home don't know what to say. I looked around in a blood-soaked gown and I saw something they can't take away. This is a very specific Carrie reference, the horror movie from 1976. The blood-soaked gown reference being to when the end scene where Carrie gets homecoming queen or prom queen, but then it is actually just a trap and the popular kids spill blood on her. Now her gown is blood-soaked. It's a similar thing here with Taylor where, you know, the jokes weren't funny. She took the money and she looked around in her life that had become, you know, a laughingstock for the majority of the media and pop culture in general. And what was the thing she saw that they can't take away is her talent herself, the thing that has brought her to the place of being ridiculed. She goes on to say, because there were pages turned with the bridges burned, or literal, like metaphorical pages turned when she burned bridges with people, but also there were literal pages turned with her literal written bridges. Oh, it's genius. And everything you lose is a step you take, so make the friendship bracelets, take the moment and taste it. You've got no reason to be afraid. It is accompanied by a swelling Jack Antonoff dramatic bridge. I just really appreciate this song for what it is. On to the next track, Midnight Rain, by the classic duo Jack and Taylor, produced and written. This topic is just so super interesting to me. Also very iconic, especially following You're on Your Own, Kid, where she's clearly talking about, you know, a high school crush or just like what her life was like prior to being famous. And then now she's giving us a bit more of a colorful picture. I'm sorry, but how do people associate this song with Tom Hiddleston when the first line of the fucking song is "My town was a wasteland"? She's clearly talking about her hometown in Pennsylvania. She references cages and fences, full of cages, full of fences. Cages is a way that Taylor has referenced closeting and, you know, how she has felt at different times in her life and career as a queer woman. The line "I broke his heart because he was nice" is literally the only thing people are latching onto for the Tom Hiddleston, like, of it all. Also, he wanted a bride. I was making my own name. When Taylor was dating Tom Hiddleston, she had her name made. Why do you think they were fucking dating? It was literally so obviously PR. The line, "all of me changed like midnight rain," is so beautiful and interesting to me because midnight is where it, you know, time itself changes over from the previous date to the next. He was sunshine, I was midnight rain. All of me changed like midnight rain. And I love how the last line of this song, Midnight Rain, is, and I never think of him except on midnights like this. This is halfway through the original album. This is the end of track 6. There are 13 tracks on the album. It very much reminds me of the beat switch in Nights on Frank Ocean's Blonde. And that beat switch happens exactly halfway through at the halfway point of Blonde. Yeah, just reminded me of that, especially since sonically this is definitely the closest Taylor has gotten to Frank Ocean vibes. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. The production, the melody, the topic, writing, the lyrics, all of it, top 5 for sure. Question is the Kissgate song of the century, done by the dynamic duo. I'm gonna put the Genius description of it right here. I don't always agree with the Genius descriptions, but I think they actually got it this time. They just didn't get the specifics, which is fine because I can fill that in for you. She starts the song with an Out of the Woods sample, I remember, but I really do think it's mostly just because she's saying, like, I remember, I was there, I remember it all too well. So the first line, good girl, sad boy, big city, wrong choices. In my opinion, this is a song that is mostly about Kissgate, about Karlie Kloss, but the you does shift in the sense that Josh Kushner was there that night. Josh Kushner was at that 1975 concert. He saw Karlie and Taylor kiss. So yeah, I think the good girl, sad boy of it all is very much good girl, Karlie Kloss, especially since she had a perfume called Good Girl at the time. Look it up, it's real. Sad boy, Josh Kushner. Sad boy because he's a sad boy to Taylor, because Taylor's like, oh, fuck, it's sad that you're the one that's like the other woman. Big city, wrong choices, like New York City, big city, wrong choices. I mean, I think there were a lot that night. The first verse is so Karlie canon, especially the painted all my nights, a color I've searched for since. It's gold. Deep blue, but you painted me golden. Line in Dancing with Our Hands Tied. Mic drop. The chorus is literally Kissgate. Have you ever had someone kiss you in a crowded room? The stuff with all your friends making fun of you, 15 seconds later they were clapping too, references the Wendy Williams episode where she presents to her audience the photo and people are like, ooh, and then 15 seconds later she asks her audience, clap if you think they're kissing, and the majority of people clapped. And then as the chorus goes on, we get the first she, her pronouns in recorded Taylor Swift history. Did you leave her house in the middle of the night? Did you wish you'd put up more of a fight? When she said it was too much, do you wish you could still touch her? It's just a question. And that it's just a question bit is so smart because it keeps it elusive so that it is possible to hetsplain this incredibly gay song. The second verse is T, the dickhead guy. It also, something I realized that I haven't really seen anyone talk about, is basically it references Gold Rush, the part politics and gender roles and you're not sure and I don't know got swept away in the gray. In Gold Rush, she's talking about you're on your contrarian shit, going against what other people are saying just for the heck of it, but it got swept away in the gray of my day-old tea because it will never be. Again, another mic drop, I'm sorry. And also, context, Gold Rush is famously about Karlie Kloss. Gold is the specific color that Taylor uses to reference Karlie again and again and again. Notably, the beat in Gold Rush goes perfectly with Karlie's catwalk. Look it up. It's crazy. Taylor is insane. And then the part, and what's that I heard that you're still with her? That is the one moment where I made the connection to Good Girl, Sad Boy being, this is who the little love triangle this is about. Oh, what I heard, you're still with her? I'm sure that's suitable and right. Right meaning, sarcasm. Oh, I'm sure that's what's right, but also right, like politically. And the way she says it, the vocal effects on that is so Regina Spektor-esque, which I love. But yeah, so when I first heard Taylor said, do you wish you could still touch her? Crazy. It's crazy. I mean, of course, the average Swiftie is going to be confused on like what question is about it, because it's for the Gaylors. It is so for the Gaylors, and I love her for that. So Vigilante Shit was the only solo written track on the album, but it is produced by both Taylor and Jack. The opening line, "Draw the cat eye sharp enough to kill a man," is so Zoe coded. Come on. Come on. "I don't dress for women, I don't dress for men" is, in my opinion, one of the most obvious bisexual lines. When you say "I don't dress for men," which is what normally people say, it means that you don't dress for men to be perceived romantically or sexually for them. Usually people say, "I don't dress for men, I dress for myself." She's saying she doesn't dress for women or for men, which implies that both are potential romantic interests. The second verse, the tea of it all, the Kim Kardashian of it all, the Kanye of it all, the Scooter of it all. It's brilliant. "She needed cold hard proof, so I gave her some. She had the envelope, where you think she got it from? Now she gets the house, gets the kids, gets the pride." So this is very much giving, obviously, Yale or whatever Scooter's ex-wife is. But it is also giving Kim Kardashian, because there is a literal photo of Kim holding an envelope, like very secretly walking out of somewhere. And then the gets the house, gets the kids, gets the pride. Both of them now, because of the karma that Taylor has, whether intentionally or not, or a mix of both, put on these men. Both Kim and Yale, I cannot pronounce her name, got the house, got the kids, definitely got the pride. But then "picture me thick as thieves with your ex-wife" is, come on. She's basically saying, like, I fucked your ex-wife, Scooter. And she looks so pretty. The way she says pretty. Come on. And then the bridge. "Ladies always rise above. Ladies know what people want. Someone sweet and kind and fun. The lady simply had enough." So it's not the ladies simply had enough, it's the lady. She is referring to either both Scooter and Kanye's ex-wives, or either of them, as the lady. When you say something like the lady, it's in a sort of chivalrous manner. The lady has a bit of a sexual undertone to it. Verse 3 is obviously so Scooter. "While he was doing lines and crossing all of mine, someone told his white-collar crimes to the FBI. Hello, he just got sued." And I love how she doesn't even say vigilante shit, and she only says it once at the end of this verse. "I'm on my vigilante shit again." We know she's been on her vigilante shit like her entire career. Like, hello, we've all heard Mastermind. But yeah, I like this one. It's a really fun bad bitch song. It's a really good guilty pleasure listen, but it's not totally guilty. I think it's a good song. I just, Maroon is on this album. Okay, so Bejeweled is the next track. I really like this one. I wasn't initially like totally blown away by it at first listen, but it's been a huge grower for me, especially with the music video. That is the gayest thing she's ever done. There are so many just queer flags in general, but the Karlie Kloss of it all is rampant. The part where she comes out with, that was obviously giving rep, right? She comes out of the elevator, and it's the glittery, sparkly, snow, catwalk. Looks like something, doesn't it? And then someone on TikTok found this photo of Karlie Kloss. And also, the jewels on it are pink, blue, and purple. And then she's literally saying in that scene, "I can reclaim the land." That is the land that they, that was the snow on the beach, right? And she has reclaimed it. For sure. But I'm getting ahead of myself. "Baby love, I think I've been a little too kind. Didn't notice you walking all over my peace of mind in the shoes I gave you as a present." The first verse, she says baby love. The second verse, she says baby boy. So, in my mind, through my queer analysis, whatever, I feel like this is generally just about, when you're heartbroken by someone, a breakup has caused you pain. I feel like this song is about that moment where you say to yourself, okay, I miss you, but I miss sparkling. I, am in in a certain kind of emotional pain, but I can still have fun, be a bad bitch, be myself. Both things can be true. So I don't think it's specifically about one, you know, ex or whatever, which makes it make even more sense that the first verse would be giving like, baby love, the shoes I give you as a present. Yes, she could theoretically buy a boy shoes for a present, but I think the other thing makes a little bit more sense. And then in the second verse, she says baby boy. You know, so it's very much pointing to the bisexuality of it all. Now, the line in the chorus, and when I meet the band, they ask, do you have a man? I can still say, I don't remember. Now, this is a very elusive line. You can read this line in many different ways. The way I hear it, and the way a lot of gaylers hear it, is, I don't remember. Like, remember, I'm gay. I think, honestly, what is more likely is that it's more of a, I don't remember, like, because this song is about, you know, truly embracing you in the midst of a heartbreak. However, once I saw that on TikTok, I could not get it out of my head. So literally every time I listen, and the way she says it does lend to both interpretations of the lyrics, because she very much does sing it in the way of, I can still say I don't remember. Like, it can so be both. The line, familiarity breeds contempt, so don't put me in the basement when I want the penthouse of your heart. It's just genius. The second verse did all the extra credit, then got graded on a curve, is very much giving this is me trying, and is also very true because she's always been, you know, when she started out, she put so much pressure on herself to be the good girl and to be perfect and to be perceived that way. And now that she's, you know, 32, and especially with this album, looking back on her career, especially post, you know, re-recording and everything, she's like, compared to everyone else, I, you know, did all the extra credit kind of for no reason. I think it obviously did her good. But I mean, as she says in Karma, which I'll get to, you know, why so many fade, but I'm still here. I think that's a lot of why, but I also think it's because she's like the most talented person in the world. Now the bridge. Now this whole part, second chorus into the bridge, is the scene with Dita Von Teese. I am not going to talk about it. I want you to watch it. And I want you to just think about what maybe that whole scene just like represents in general. I'm not gonna say it. Yeah. But sapphire tears on my face, sadness became my whole sky. Sapphire is basically another way of saying, do you listen to Girl in Red? Which is like kind of like the Gen Z version of the term sapphire, which is a sneaky way to ask if a woman is queer or sapphic. It's because sapphire is so close to the word sapphic. But yeah, I really like this one. I like what it's about. I think it's a really great pop song. So Labyrinth, written and produced by Taylor and Jack Antonoff. The metaphor of the elevator, you know how scared I am of elevators. When it rises, if it rises fast, it can't last. I love that as a metaphor for relationships and being, oh, it's going so quickly, there's no way this is gonna last. In verse 2, she does a classic Taylor thing, which is play on one word for one like kind of elongated sentence. Break up, break free, break through, break down. You would break your back to make me break a smile. Genius! It reminds me of in Dorothea, and if you're ever tired of being known for who you know you'll always know me. And the fact that this ties to the song Dorothea, which again, Dorothy is another like a queer sapphic lingo. I'll use it in a sentence. Is she a friend of Dorothy's? Someone would say, is she a friend of Dorothy's? That means, you know, is she gay? But yeah, overall, this is just like a chill sleigh bop. I feel like it's a bit of a palate cleanser, being the meat of the Bejeweled and Karma sandwich. The two bops. She loves to layer like sad, slay, sad, slay. And I especially love the production at the end when the chorus repeats, but it shifts almost like there's a key change, but then there's also a beat switch, and the production changes, and her vocals are taken way, way low. Now Karma is my boyfriend. This one was written and produced by Jack and Taylor, Soundwave, Jahan Sweet, who also worked on Lavender Haze, and Keanu Beats. The iconicness of it all with Kanye and how the Midnight's release week was the week that Kanye ended his career for himself. Your enemies will defeat themselves before you have a chance to swing. Like, yes, Taylor knows all, but there's no way she could have predicted that Kanye was going to be verbally anti-Semitic on television. I talk about this more in a video on my TikTok, so if you want to check that out, please do. My TikTok is linked below. But yeah, it's just, especially the first verse I do feel like is a bit Kanye coded, like you're talking shit for the hell of it. Addicted to betrayal, but you're relevant. The I keep my side of the street clean, you wouldn't know what I mean, is kind of baller, because karma is my boyfriend. Karma is a god. Karma is the breeze in my hair on the weekend. Karma's a relaxing thought. Aren't you envious that for you it's not? Incredible pop, camp, perfection. Yeah, I'm obsessed. Now I can't get through Karma without mentioning a Gaylor lyric. Karma is a cat purring in my lap because it loves me. Obviously Taylor's obsessed with cats, and that is the most obvious way to read this, and I think it is, you know, part of it. It's very cute. I like it. Especially with the camp song of the year. Come on. But cats are also called pussies. The cat is in her lap purring because she loves her. Cat is in her lap. The cat is purring. The second verse is very like Scooter and Scott Borchetta, especially with the like, your pennies made my crown, or my pennies made your crown. Don't you know that cash ain't the only price? It's coming back around. And oh, it has. Oh, it has. Yeah, I just think this is an amazing song. Yeah, this is one of the best on the album for sure. And then again, after the bop, we get a slow down moment with Sweet Nothing, which was produced by Taylor and Jack and written by Taylor and William Bowery, which is believed to be Joe Alwyn. Taylor has said it's Joe Alwyn. A lot of people in the Gaylor community are not so sure. I see why it could be him, and I see why it's not him. But yeah, it's a sweet little track. I love the instrumentation. I love the piano. I love the little run she does before the last chorus, like, Whether, you know, this is about their relationship, romantic or not, or something else, or it's not even Joe, whatever. It's a very sweet track. It makes me sad. It's very melancholic, you know? Mastermind was done by the dynamic duo, of course, Jack and Taylor. I love how this song develops in a way where the theme and like the story, the plot develops at the same speed in the same way as the production. Obviously from like a blanket superficial analysis, it's, you know, I planned all of our relationship and me getting you out. None of it was accidental. I'm the mastermind. But I also think it's very much giving double meaning. I think it's really hard to ignore lines like, what if I told you none of it was accidental? And then it was all by design because I'm a mastermind. The fact that it is the last track on her 10th studio album, it makes sense that she would be, in many ways, speaking to the fans in an elusive way. No one wanted to play with me as a little kid, so I've been scheming like a criminal ever since. It makes complete sense. It sounds straight out of a therapy session. The first chorus being, what if I told you none of it was accidental, to the last chorus, so I told you none of it was accidental. So classic Tay, super smart. I love that she ends the album on, you know, very much like a classic Taylor motif, and truly finishes the album with "'Cause I'm a Mastermind." I think it's a perfect way to end an album that she has managed to, in a very mastermind way, basically come out to her queer fan base, or, you know, just people that are analyzing her work through a literary lens, which inevitably brings you to the queer of it all because the literary references are queer references that she's leaving us, but just have it go completely over the heads of the general public and the majority of her fan base. But in a more general sense, it very much points to how she has really made a brand out of Taylor Swift. Like she said in her like reputation pre-log or whatever, you don't ever really know a person, you know the parts of them they've chosen to show you. But I can imagine after so many years of doing this, it can get a little exhausting, especially as she gets older and, I would argue, wiser. I know you don't think you get wiser, Taylor, but I would say so. So yeah, I think this album is amazing. I think she's amazing. I think she's a genius. The fact that she is able to consistently put out, like, not just like good art, but like incredible art, like creating like new shit basically creating new genres, constantly breaking records, constantly breaking her own records. She doesn't have a bad album, and she never will. But yeah, obviously I'm giving this album a 10. Like, I feel like that's obvious. I will be doing a top 20 albums of the year video, as well as a top 30 songs of the year video, and I will be ranking it because I love to rank. That will be coming in December. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. My video on the 3am tracks will be up shortly. Remember to subscribe if you like this video and want to see more of my content. I will see you next time. Keep slaying!